So alhamdulillah to have him back. Some of you probably have attended his lecture on Friday night. But for those of you who have missed it, this is another chance with a new topic. It's called Muslims Together Here and There. And I think from the title you can understand is emphasizing that Muslims are meant to be together. Ummah wahida. إنما المؤمنون إخوة واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا ولا تنازعوا فتفشلوا وتذهب ريحكم. Muslims everywhere should cooperate. تعاون على البر والتقوى. Have we to spread the word of Allah?
Don't steal my program.
Oh, sorry. I was not to an introduction. So without due delay, I'll let the Sheikh Yusuf make his speech. Shukran alayhi. Apologies.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والهادي إلى المستقيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. السلام عليكم. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Yeah, Ikhwan, brothers, this is a great chance for all of us today. The topic we said is about what? Being together. Here and now. Actually, it said here and there. I like the way we put it, here and there, because it sounded like it could be scattered everywhere, right? Did you get that from the title? Here and there, everywhere, where are you? You're lost, or, scattered around. Also, it could be that some people said, well, here and hereafter, here and there, or sometime in the future. There are a number of ways you could look at the title, and I'll let you decide what you think about it after the program's over. You figure out how we did with it. I would like to just look at some of the things that are mentioned in Quran, and then we'll talk about some hadith, and then maybe we can wrap it up with some dua, inshallah. I'm relying heavily on translation for everything that I do. So there's always mistakes in translation. You know that. You really want to know what the Quran says, there's nothing like knowing the Arabic language. If you want to know the meaning of it, then there's nothing like going to the scholars of the tafsir. And if you want to know the feeling of it, there's nothing like getting up in the middle of the night and begging Allah to give you the understanding for you to do what you need to do. So it depends on what you're looking for. If you just want to be scholarly or academic about something, the Muslims here and there is a scattering of the Muslims. And this is without a doubt. Also, Muslims here and there, we also know that to be a Muslim here, you don't want to die without Islam, because obviously that's what this is all about. Being sure that you die on La ilaha illallah. But there's also another aspect of it, because as you heard in the introduction, I just came here from the United States. But you didn't know this, that a week before that, I was in Indonesia, and the week before that, I was in Malaysia. Somewhere in there, I got to spend the night in China. So, yeah, so Muslims here and there could also be mean traveling around. Today, especially amongst the Muslims from Middle East, from the Desi community, from the Arabic community, you will see a lot of traveling. I see a brother today will come up to me and he'll say, you remember me? And I'm like, okay, I'm in Kuwait, so I don't remember this guy. The face is familiar. He'll say, yeah, you remember you met me in a coffee shop in New York. It's like, oh, okay. So I never know. And somebody might come up to me and say, you remember me when we were having coffee in Finland? Somebody else will say, oh yeah, I'm in Australia, right? And somebody says, yeah, I know you. We had coffee in Hong Kong. By the way, you notice that I mentioned coffee in every one of these situations? Now you know what I'm addicted to, right? All right, so we got that out of the way. So Muslims are here and there all over the planet. And here and there in their own movements. How many in this room right now have been in another country besides Kuwait? Wait a minute. Let's go the other way. Is anybody in here that did not go to any other country beside Kuwait? Nobody. Everybody's been, even the sisters, by the way. Nobody, except that they've been in other countries. So that's another kind of here and there, isn't it? The message of Islam should be going with each and every one of us. The message of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah should be traveling along with every one of us. Is there anybody in this room that did not have a chance today to talk to a non-Muslim about Islam? Anybody? No, wait a minute. If you didn't raise your hand, that means you talked to somebody about Islam. You were actually giving dawah today to a non-Muslim. Let's try that again. Anybody in the room who did give dawah to somebody today that's non-Muslim, raise your hand. That's what I thought. There we go. That's the percentage I'm looking for. It means most of us didn't do it. Alhamdulillah, Allah bless me. I always ask Him every night, I want to give dawah to somebody. Actually, I say I want to give shahada to somebody every day. Today we had 8 that we give dawah to. They didn't do shahada. 8. Well, 6 were non-Muslim. 2 were Muslim. Alhamdulillah. So, yeah. And this just now Dhuhr time, so there's hope for me yet to get that shahada, right? I'm looking for that. Muslims here and there, I'm hoping that we, all of us, you and I, will carry that message wherever we go. There are some issues, though, that all of us would like to discuss. Some problems, mushkila, difficulties that we see, and depending on where we are, these could be elevated up to be pretty big problems. Also, there could be more of them or less of them, depending on where we are. If we were all sitting in Medina right now, it'd be kind of hard to think about any problem at all. It'd be so lovely. How many been to Medina? Anybody? You know how you feel on the Rauda. How many been on the Rauda? Man, it's amazing, isn't it? It's like you forget everything. Alhamdulillah, one sister was telling us that she had had cancer, and a lot of pain ever since, for years and years. But when she got on the Rauda, she said it disappeared. She started crying. She said, the first time I remember what it's like not to have pain. And after a few minutes, of course, they were pushing them off. She said, I didn't want to get off. And she said, as soon as I was off the Rauda, the pain came back worse than before. But alhamdulillah, this is something. If you haven't been there, or if you don't know what's the Rauda, the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he mentioned that that spot is like the closest to Jannah you're going to get in this life. Plus or minus translation. Let's go now to our topic, our subject, and let's explore what's one of the biggest problems that we have here and now. Now, I changed this. You notice I said here and now. That means I'm talking about right this minute. Some of us, we will say, well, the biggest problem we got today is Yahudi. Some people will blame the Jewish for everything that happened, including I can't find their socks in the morning. It's all Yahudi conspiracy. Yeah. But I promise you that is not your problem. That is not your real problem. Some people will say, well, the real problem is the Nasrani, the Christians. There's our problem. If it wasn't for these guys, but I'm telling you, that's not the real problem. In fact, in some ways, it can be solutions to problems to work with these two groups. Seriously. Another issue that we come up with is saying that, well, all of this is this country or that country or some country, pointing at a particular country as though the geography had something to do with it. But again, I'm going to tell you that's really not the problem. Not according to Islam, not according to the Quran. This is not your biggest problem. You read the Quran in Arabic? You understand it? That's why I use translation. Don't worry about it. I know some of the words. And I asked the Sheikh, the teachers, about the ones that don't know. And we figure it out. Not that hard. Especially when something is so crystal clear. Shall I read it to you? A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. This is the Surah Baqarah, the heifer, young cow. Ayah 208. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu udkhulu fi silmi khafatan. Then it goes on, وَلَا تَتَبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ إِنَّهُ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ مُبِينٌ. Anybody know what it means? Who knows what it means? You sure? Even with my poor Arabic, you understood it? MashaAllah, that's pretty good. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, everybody knows what that means? Yeah, it's saying, yeah, whenever you say yeah, you're almost calling somebody. Listen to what I'm going to tell you. Yeah, hey, pay attention here. Like if we say, hey, yeah. Ya ayyuhalladhina, oh, you who are of those, alladhina, those guys, who have iman in Allah. Now this means more than just believe, but we don't have a word for iman in English, so we take shortcuts. This is very serious though. If you have real iman in Allah, this is a very strong sign. If anybody has iman in Allah, even if he calls himself a Christian, he might be somebody going to Jannah, even today. That's in Quran too, by the way. But let's stay focused on this one. O you who have iman in Allah, udkhulu fi silmi. Oh, it said, come into Islam. Come into Islam completely, wholeheartedly. No, don't play around. Come in straight away. But then even after that it says, don't follow the footsteps of the shaitan. Don't follow the footsteps of the devil. Verily, he is a sworn enemy to you. Quran just told you, who's your biggest enemy? Who's your biggest problem? Shaitan. There's two kinds of shaitan, the outside and the inside. There's actually one trying to work on you 24 hours a day, talking in your ear, talking inside your heart, telling you, oh, say something back to that guy. Smack him. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Take some extra there. Hey, they owe you. Take something. This is shaitan. So, we found that right there. But now I want to go back to those. What's the footsteps of shaitan? What's the footsteps of shaitan? Because remember now, Allah didn't say, Ya ayyuhan nas. He said, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. So he's directly talking to people who already have iman in him. Not maybe. For real, this is talking to the... If you consider yourself to be a believer in Islam, he's talking to you. But then he's telling you, get into Islam perfectly. I thought I already was. No. You're a mu'min, but are you a Muslim? And if you said, no, come on, they're the same thing. Really? Let's take a look. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله والله ومن أهل الكتاب لكان خير لهم منهم مؤمنون وأكثرهم فاسقون. You heard the word mu'minun in there? You heard it, right? Now, is that talking about Muslims? Let's see. Translation here says, you are the best of nations raised up for all the humankind because you command what is al-maruf, you forbid what is al-munkar, and you believe in Allah. That's talking to us. Maruf and munkar is calling to Allah and forbidding what takes people away from Allah. That's in another speech, so that you don't mix this up. We just say call the good, forbid evil. Because you could say, well, I want to call you to always stop at a red light. That would be good. Okay? And I want to command you also, guys, be careful and don't take any candy from a baby, because that would be evil. No, this is something bigger. But anyway, it goes on, وَاللَّهُ أَمَانَ أَهْلِ كِتَابِ لَكَانَ خَيْرٌ لَهُمْ. And if, in Arabic it's not like English, so you have the word amana is coming first. If you believe in Allah, people of the book. So if the people of the book had believed, and they put a past tense in the translation, but it's not in Arabic. It's not past tense. This means that somebody already made a mistake. It said, if the people of the book believe, then it's better for them. But that's not the end of that. Look at this. Minhum mu'minun. From them are believers. Now this one does have the present tense when it says, there are some of them who have faith. Some of the translations say, some of them had faith. Because they're trying to make it look like it's before the Quran was revealed. But why would Allah bother to tell you that? Why would Allah tell you, well, it's better for the people of Isa alayhi salam at his time if they believed. Some of them did and some of them didn't. What is it? You start the ayah out talking to us as Muslims what we're supposed to be doing. You're telling us, and then you're going to switch and go back in history or for some history lesson or what? No. I'm trying to make an impact here that today there are people of the book, of the Jews, of the Christians who are movement. But it didn't say they're Muslim. It said they're movement. That means they have iman in Allah. وَأَكْثَرُهُمْ فَاسِقُونَ. What is fasiq? Fisk is to corrupt something, pervert something, or to go against something. Fisk, fasiqun. Most of them are fasiq, meaning that they might say it, but they don't do it. They're actually corrupting their own deal. I wanted you to hear that because a lot of times we have a tendency to think we're the only people on the earth that believe the right way. Maybe we believe the right way, but we still aren't doing what Muslims are supposed to do. What are Muslims supposed to do? So one day, now we're going to switch over a little bit and we're going to talk about some of the teachings of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And I'll go to one of the most basic, elementary of the hadith. Everybody probably knows it better than me anyway, but it's called the Hadith of Jibril. How many of you know what it is already? When I said Hadith of Jibril, you already know which one it is. So the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he came out, he was talking to his companions. He said, ask me some question. They said, no. Ask something. Ask me something about the deen, about Islam. You know, ask them. They're too shy. Suddenly, there's somebody amongst them that they don't recognize. Who is this? And they're kind of surprised, because if you live in the desert, suddenly there's somebody there that you didn't see before. For sure, this guy's going to have all kind of desert identification. You know what desert identification is? You ever spend the day in the desert? You get lots of identification all over you. You got sand, dirt, clothes are all messed up. But the hadith, it says that the one reporting the hadith is saying that we saw this person's clothes were exceedingly white, meaning there was nothing on them. And his hair exceedingly black. Again, nothing messing up his hair. Wow. No dirt, nothing, no sand. And then this one, he comes right up to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and kneels down right in front of him with his knees to his knees and his hands on his thighs, and it's kind of like, you kind of imagine me looking at you like that. And he said, what is Islam? Whoa. Heavy duty stuff. Who are you, man? وقال الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم شهادتين صلوات خمس صوم رمضان زكاة المال Hajj في بيت الله. Now, in some of this hadith is having many people telling it, and some of them don't have the mention about the Hajj. I don't know why, but I'll just tell you that. So, but these are the 5 pillars of Islam, is that right? But then this one, he says, you're right. What? Oh, hold on a second. If you already know, why are you asking? And who are you to come and ask for Rasul? So they were like, what? Did you get this guy? Then he said, what is Iman? Now, you want to know what's mu'min? Iman is going to get the description. To believe in Allah. وَمَلَائِكَتِهِ وَكُتُبِهِ وَرُسُلِهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَقَدْرِ Allah, the qadr of Allah. So, translation, to believe completely and totally in Allah. To believe in the Malaika. Malaika is the angels. To believe in the books. Books, not just the Quran, but all the books from the past. By the way, in the original format, not translation. This right here has some Quran in it, but it is not the Quran because it has English as well. So don't say this is Quran, because part of it is the Arabic, but the rest of it is the English translation. So it's a mixture. We still treat it good, don't get me wrong, but if you see the Bible, for instance, just ask, is it in Aramaic? They'll say, what's that? The translation went from Aramaic to Koine Greek. Is it in Koine Greek? And if they say yes, I got news for you. The Greek that they use today for it, Interlinear Bible, and I have one, is not Koine Greek. It's just Greek. So they don't have it. I just want to make that clear. But we believe that there were books before that came with Ibrahim alayhi salam, Enoch, Idris, and Musa alayhi salam, and so on. And Isa alayhi salam, and of course Muhammad. Muhammad ﷺ with Quran. Now, having said that, the next thing it's mentioning is prophets. We have to believe in all of the Anbiya, all of these messengers of Allah, and there were more than 124,000 sent to their different nations and peoples to know who God is and what He wants from us, what He expects from us. And by the way, He doesn't need it. We need to do it so we fulfill our obligation. Allah doesn't need your ibadah. Have you thought, oh, because some Christians, they'll try to ask you that way. You know, they'll say, how come God needs us to worship Him? He didn't need that. Well, then why do I need to do it? Because He told you to do it. Alhamdulillah. It's a test. The next thing after the prophets is to believe on the Yawm al-Qiyamah we'll be brought back in a body, a real body. Again, according to some Christians, they will tell you, no, we'll come back as a spirit, you know, floating around like a ghost or something. No, you'll have a real body. And you'll be really worried about what's going to happen to that body. That's reality. Then finally is to believe in the qadr of Allah. I want to take just a minute to tell you about another hadith about this. It mentions that Rasulullah ﷺ told his followers that there's going to come a day when the one thing of Iman that's going to be rejected or argued about some of the Muslims is going to be the qadr of Allah. And today, since I've been Muslim, I've been hearing this, and it increases day by day by day. How many people say, oh no, Allah, He doesn't know what's going to happen. No, Allah, He didn't decree everything. It hasn't happened yet. You can't say that. Remember now, Rasul ﷺ said that was going to happen, and it just happened. When somebody tells you, for instance, they don't believe in hadith. Have you heard this? Some people say, no, I just believe in the Quran. He also said that was going to happen. He said it. And you have people today, I don't take hadith. All the hadith are, no, that's a trick. The real deal, just the Quran, all we need. Really? So, what page in here can you show me it says Salawatul Khams? 5 times a day. Show me. It's not there. What time do I actually start fasting? Quran says when you can tell the difference between a white thread and a black thread. You can't do that till the sun's up. So how do I know? Questions we have about Hajj, about Salat. Even questions somebody might have about the Shahada. If I say the Shahada, am I automatically just forgiven of everything and I don't have to worry about it anymore? According to Christians, once they say that Jesus is the Son of a God, died for their sins, they can do anything. They're going to go to Jannah. I've heard it. I even asked that question. The Baptists in my community in Texas had a saying, once saved, always saved. So if I'm saved by you guys, no matter what I do after that, yeah, I'm good to go. Well, guess what? When I was a boy, I got saved by the Baptists for a whole week. Am I still saved? Yeah. Well, good. I became a Muslim, so I got a backup. They're like, no. So what do you mean? No, Muslim can't be. So excuse me, you just said it was. So this is your exception? I don't want to talk to you anymore. Okay, whatever. So there are people who have Iman. There are people that have Iman. But do they have Islam? Okay, let's examine the word Islam and find out where we're at with that. We understand a little bit about the word mu'min, Iman, Amana. Like that, we got that. All right. The word Islam, what does it mean? I need one word in English. Who can tell me? Yes, brother. Submission, that's the only thing it means. You sure? Hold on. Nothing else. Hold on. Who else have some? One word in English for Islam. Tell me what it is. Yes, brother. Obey. Peace. How many think it means peace? How many think it means peace? Put your hand up real high. Now the first two were better. The first two were better. Submission and obey. Why? Well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Don't get me wrong. Okay? But salam is peace. We never say to each other, Islam alaikum. Wa alaikum Islam. It doesn't sound right. You're like, wait a minute, what do you say, man? Let's go back and look. The root in the Arabic language is 3 letters. Sin, Lam, Mim. Sum. But this, like so many of the words in the Arabic language, has so much beautiful growth coming from it. Beautiful, like flowers coming out of this amazing garden can come from 3 letters in the Arabic language. And in this case, Aslama. We're going to take this one that comes from it, Aslama. That one contains in it, in English language, surrender. It's a complete and total surrender. Submission, like our brother said, is also there. And obey, obedience is there. And sincerity. Because somebody be doing all these things but not doing it for Allah. Or only 50% for Allah. 50% to get married to a Muslim. Maybe. Something like that. This means it's not complete sincerity. It doesn't work. All of these, by the way, are absolute. It's not, it doesn't mean a little bit of submission or surrender or obey. No, it means 100%. 100% of sincerity. Have to be sincere. But we're not done. Also, there is safety and security in there. Have you ever heard Arabs say mas salama when you're leaving? Mas salama. What do you think he's saying? Did you think he meant peace? Go with peace? No, it meant security. Go in the security of Allah. Salama. Why didn't he just say salamu alaikum? Why he said ma salama? I always wondered that. Then one Sheikh, he said, listen, don't say salam means peace. I said, what? Everybody said it. He said, it's not right. This is the name of Allah. As-salam is the name of Allah. And whenever you're talking about the name of Allah, you need to know what you're saying about Allah. Be careful. It's better to be quiet than to say something the wrong way about Allah. You can get messed up real quick. So Allah is absolute salam. So security and peace and safety, all of these are together. Security and safety. How many people on the planet today worry about security and safety? Everybody. There is not a human being that doesn't consider some kind of security and safety, maybe even every day, especially if you're traveling in airports. Airport security. Security forces. That's a nice thing to say. Security forces coming in to bother you. And securities are coming in with their guns and making you feel very insecure. But security and safety are what is required to have peace. You will not feel peace if you don't feel secure and safe. And only Allah will give you that real complete, total feeling of safety, security, and therefore you can say, peace, you're not wrong, but it's a part of something bigger. And that's amazing, isn't it? Surrender, submission, obedience, sincerity, and peace with safety and security. All of that for one word, Islam. That's the action. That means you have to do. That's you doing something to get it. You have to do it. The noun is pronounced Islam. The action is pronounced Islam. The one who does it is in English you put after a verb. Walk, talk, think, drive, stink, and you got all of these after, and you know that's the guy who did it, right? In Arabic you put moo first. I don't know why we get the sound of the cow in there, do you? Moo suffer, the traveler, huh? Mu'adhan, the caller to the prayer. Muslim, the one who does surrender, submission, obedience, sincerity, and peace with Almighty Allah. So now do you understand how somebody could be a true believer, a movement, but he didn't do this yet, so he's still not a Muslim. Now this brings another question. Could a Muslim be a Muslim but not be a movement? And the answer is no. Because remember that word we said, sincerity, who you being sincere to? If you don't know who it is, you're not there. So to be a true Muslim, it incorporates the belief. This is why some of the scholars say, oh, these guys that are out here doing terrorism, they can't be Muslims. They cannot be, because they're doing something that's not Islam and not based on the right belief. So, according to some scholars, anybody even hooked up with these guys is out of Islam. That's amazing, because they're the reason we all got a bad name. And according to us, they're not even Muslim to start with. Wow. And by the way, just FYI, for your information, a lot of these guys are being paid to go out and do what they do. Big money. They're called mercenaries. Now this is the English language, mercenary. And I find that so ironic, because these guys have zero mercy. They call them mercenaries. So now we have a better idea what's a Muslim, what is Islam, what is the belief. And let's go back again and look at the Quran and see what we're supposed to be doing. What am I supposed to be doing anyway? It's telling me in the Quran, كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ تَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَتَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ وَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ. That's the first half. The rest of it's talking about the Jews and Christians, but let's focus on what we're supposed to be doing, calling to al-ma'ruf, forbidding al-munkar. And what is ma'ruf? And we said this is actually calling to la ilaha illallah and forbidding the munkar, and they said this is the absolute highest thing to be forbidden, whatever takes people away from la ilaha illallah. I wanted to mention though something about our subject now. We're talking about Muslims here and there. Let's listen to something that we hear every Friday in the Jummah khutbah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu wattaqullaha haqqa tuqatih wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. This is chapter 3 of the Quran, ayah 102. It says, "O you who believe." Okay, again we know that there's iman involved. Fear Allah as he should be feared. I got to break down another word before I can go any further. It's not fear. Khawf in Arabic is fear. Khawf. The word that's used here is taqwa. Taqwa. Mutaki'in. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqallah. Taqwa. What is taqwa? Very good. Very good. Protection. I had another word in mind. I was looking for a noun. You're looking for an action. That's good. Protection. Excellent. I like that. Take that with us. All right. How many of you guys ever did Game Boy or played with, with these stuff on the computer and you shoot the monsters and the monsters are shooting? How many? How many of you guys? Huh? If I'm giving away some of those games right now, you raise your hand up there. Oh, there we go. Everybody put their hand up. All right. Any girls ever played that before? You like it? You look at the back row. You're not. You're by yourself, sister. All right. So we do have some that have played these games. And whenever you're doing those games, the monsters are coming at you, the bad guys are coming at you, and you're trying to shoot them, and they're trying to shoot you. Some of them got flamethrowers. Some of them got magnetic rays are coming at you, and all of a sudden you realize, I don't have a weapon to offset that. So I need to buy something with my points, and I need to get a, what do you call it? Protection? I need a protection thing. What's it called? Shield. That's the word I was looking for. I need a shield. And that's exactly what this is. Taqwa is a protection or a shield against what? Now wait a minute. It says that I should fear Allah. That's a translation. Taqwa, taqallah, a shield against the law, a protection against the law. Is there any place you could hide in the universe where Allah couldn't get to you? That's a ridiculous statement, isn't it? It's the dumbest question maybe there is. Allah made the universe and you're telling me He can't find you? Can't see you? Can't hear you? Allah is the all-seeing, the all-hearing. Hello? That's His attributes. So how could I have? How does this work? These translations don't work. They really don't. They'll mess you up. That's why you need the Arabic language. You really need it. If you want to know what you are, what you're doing here on this planet, you better find out what it really says. Because it's not fear of Allah that you're running out and getting protection up here, because that would indicate you're playing a video game. And this is not a video game. This is talking about protect yourself on the day of judgment against the ghadab of Allah. Remember when you were reading Fatiha and you said, Siratal Ladina Namta Alayhim, you put us on that straight path of those righteous people, Alayhim. Ghairul Maghdubi Alayhim. Not the path of the people that have your ghadab. How many of you know the hadith? There's a hadith on the next life when we're all waiting for the judgment. You know about this hadith? And the sun is brought close over your heads. And you're standing in your own sweat to your neck. And you're just standing for this one day is like 1,000 years. And a 1,000 years is like a day. And you're just burning and cooking and you don't know what's going to. And then all the human beings are brought back. There's billions and billions and trillions of human beings everywhere, and some are going to Adam alayhi salam, and they're saying, Yo Adam, go get your Lord to start it up, man, we want to get this over with. How many of you know this hadith? Even the way I'm telling it. Okay, this is kind of close. Anyhow, then Adam tells them, no. Your Lord is, and he used the word ghadab. Your Lord is in wrath, not angry. Angry is the translation. But it's something more than anger. It's ghadab. Your Lord is having ghadab today like he never had before and will never have it again. This is the only time he's going to have this ghadab. And I have my own sins. Go to Ibrahim. And they go to Ibrahim and get the same answer. Musa as-salam get the same answer, and so on. They come to Isa alayhi salam. He said, just go to Muhammad. He doesn't give them any discussion. He just says, go to Muhammad. And then, in this case, Muhammad alayhi salam, he is making salah and putting his head on the ground, is making the prostration, the sajda, and asking for Allah to pull people from the fire, so on. But I'm giving you the brief so you can understand something. Ghadab. Your shield against Allah's punishment on that day is what this is talking about when it says taqwa. When it says taqwa, you brace yourself for what's the inevitable. You and I, all of us. Is there somebody in this room that thinks they're not going to die? Anybody in this room thinks, no, I'm not going to die. I'm going to live forever. I met a man like that. I did, in the 1970s. I was in Alabama. No, Georgia. I was in Georgia. I remember now. And this man, a doctor, he was saying that I know I'm 63 years old, but I figured a way that I'm not ever going to die. By the way, he's dead. But he was saying, I know how we can do it. And I'm curious, tell me how. He said, okay, already we've figured a way to replace a human heart. This was still in the early days of the heart transplants, but he said we can do that, heart transplant. He's talking about DeBecky and some of the others who were in Houston in those days doing that. He said, and also we can replace skin if somebody gets burned really bad. Yeah, that's true. And we can replace eyes. Somebody lose their eyesight, we can get eyes and replace the eyesight. And a lung. We're working on getting replacement lungs. I don't think they did that one yet. And a liver. And a kidney. We can get a kidney from one person, put it in another. There's so many ways. And we can keep going and keep going. And eventually we will find ways to replace all the skin and all the hair and all the fingers and all the stuff. We will never die. And we're going along in a car, and I turned to him, I said, where are you going to get all these parts? He said, well, from dead people. Carry on. So, yeah, right. What we know for sure, everybody's going to die. Allah said it in the Quran. We're Muslims, we believe in our Lord and the only creator and sustainer. And he said right here in Surah Baqarah, you can find it, Kulu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. Every single one of us is going to die. You might prolong it for a few minutes, days, even years, but eventually you'll die. And guess what? If you prolong your life, that was written for you anyway. Allah already knew that. I don't know if am I out of time yet, Sheikh? Because I want to tell him a story about something. It's a hadith. Habib, how are we doing in time? He said we got to wrap it up pretty quick. There is a hadith, short version of it, that Sulaiman alayhi salam, at his time, he had some of these things from Allah that were amazing. One of them is that he had an army of animals that trooped along with the people. Also, he could hear things like the ants talking. There were many things that Sulaiman had that other people can't even imagine. But one of them, one of the people from his time came to him and he said, there's somebody staring at me. This guy keeps staring at me, looking at me, staring at me. And Sulaiman said, oh, that's the angel of death. He said, what? He said, this is the angel of death. He said, get me out of here. Get me far away from him. I don't want to die. He said, he keeps staring at me. He said, make it so that I go too far away to a mountain, a cave, somewhere far away. And Sulaiman did that. faster than a jet, man. Boom! There he is. He's in the cave. In a mountain, man. And guess who's there? Who can guess who's there waiting for him? The angel of death, the Malakal Maut, is right there. He's like, ah! Said, why are you staring at me? He said, well, I knew that I had to take your life at this place and at this time, and I was trying to figure out how you were going to get there. It's a hadith. I know it sounds funny, but the reality is, every one of us have a destined time, and you will die, and there's nothing you can do about it. There is something you can do about the condition you'll be in by making the right choice. When we die, this is the best time to say, La ilaha illallah, but understand what you're saying. There is none worthy of my devotion, my love, my worship, other than Allah. Complete and total submission to Him on His terms. La ilaha illallah, and that's it. This is Muslims here and there, wherever you think. If we have time for one more little short story, this is not from the Quran, it's not from the Hadith, but it's from one of the teachers of Islam in later days. His name is Abu Abdullah. Abu Abdullah was on his deathbed. He was about to die. And Abdullah, his son, was there with him. And he was trying to encourage his father, who was a scholar of Islam. He was trying to get him to say, La ilaha illallah. And his father was almost like passing out. And he said, Laysa bad. Laysa bad. Yeah. Oh, my father. Qul la ilaha illallah. Say la ilaha illallah. Laysa bad. Not yet. Not yet. Father, say la ilaha illallah. Laysa bad. Not yet. Ah. And then he was quiet and he thought his father died. This is Sheikh, this is my father. And he didn't say it. And then he opened his eyes and he looked at him and he said, Father, I was trying to get you to say la ilaha illallah. He said, I didn't hear you. I was hearing the shaitan. He was saying, oh, Abu Abdullah, you're out of my reach now. And I was saying, not yet. Not yet. Thumma qala la ilaha illallah wa huwa maut. Then he said, there's only one worthy of my worship, Allah, and he passed away. Abu Abdullah. Maybe you know him by another name. Ahmad ibn Hanbal, the father of Abdullah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Walladhi Jannah Muslimeen. I'm so thankful for this chance to be here with all of you to talk about Muslims here and there. I hope to see all of you there in Jannatul Firdaus al-A'la. Ameen. Rabbana atina fi dunya hasan وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد الحمد لله رب العالمين هو الذي جعلنا مسلمين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Sheikh, I respect what you said, Jazakallah khair. And Sheikh, obviously, he has traveled worldwide. And we are in a world where people, they can easily manipulate your statements. So, we respect that, Sheikh, Jazakallah khair. Only one that we could have ask them to prepare them in paper next time, inshallah. No problem. And we are grateful for you being here among us. We believe, as ICK, we think highly of Sheikh Yusuf. And as I said last year, we tried to do a huge program, a big program to honor this beautiful country of Kuwait. That is a country that believes in freedom of religion, and there are so many non-Muslims living here in peace in Kuwait, and it's a country that promotes peace and encourages unity among Muslims. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless everyone who lives in Kuwait, and may Allah bless Sheikh and bring peace to the world, inshallah.
Amen.
So we are again honored. We'd like on your behalf to honor Sheikh with a symbolic token. This is the token which we prepared for the Sheikh last year. And it was given to him, but I couldn't take it with him, but it wasn't possible. So
you're recycling it.
No. This is just for the brothers and sisters. You may have seen it, but we have one for this year.
By the way, I brought an empty suitcase.
Okay, well, I think this will help to fill it up. Well, this is a humble gift from our community, so please accept it. Jazakallah khair. And this is for Habib. And Habib is a real Habib. So please, Habib, come here, Habibi. We honor you and respect you as long as you are helping the Sheikh facilitate his job to the da'wah and go around the world. Habib we've already been met, and is a nice and gentleman. He's an active person in the United States. He has his business, but he volunteers to support the Sheikh. May Allah bless you and your family. Sheikh, tafadhal. This is a humble gift from all these brothers and sisters, just to show appreciation for honoring our community. Sheikh, we'd love to see you again.